I hypnotize people to do the shit they tell themselves to do, like point blank. Everybody knows how to be successful. They know how to lose weight. They know how to make more money. They know that they need to market themselves and create more content. And then I'm the guy that comes in to hypnotize them and just like literally reprogram their mind for success so that they easily get up every single day and start doing those things.
And I'm one of those entrepreneurs, and I help entrepreneurs every single day with content creation and to be able to grow and expand their revenue and scale their business. And that's why we wanted to join together and create this segment for YouTube to hopefully deliver some value to you, the viewer at home.
Go grab my brand new hypnosis app. It's called MINDMOD. And when you download it today, you get a free 7-day trial. You'll be able to have all of my audios in your back pocket to help brainwash yourself for success, from increasing confidence to losing weight to quitting smoking to increasing your focus and productivity. It's all in there. So tap below to get started and take action now. Why we mesh so well and why what I do and what you do would really help somebody is because you help them with the tangible execution of the information. How do you create a podcast? How do you create high quality content from A to Z? Here are the steps. Then people are naturally going to have some resistance to doing those things because of their fears, their beliefs. Maybe they don't think they're smart enough. They're a little self-conscious. They don't like the way they look, so they don't show up as confidently. Well, so now they talk themselves out of doing the things that you've told them to do that you know work, where I come in, I hypnotize them, and now all of a sudden they're confident, they're energized, they're like, oh yeah, shit, let's film some content, let's knock this out of the park, let's articulate ourselves, let's sell people, let's do this.
Yeah, it's the mindset part, right? And it goes into everything, into business, into content and everything. I think it's huge. And I think people are hungry. I think people are hungry to better themselves. I think we're in a new world. I think every day the world is evolving faster and faster.
My whole story on TikTok was like, I went from 0 to 100,000 followers in less than 30 days. I went from 0 to 500,000 followers in less than 6 months, and then ultimately over 1 million in less than a year. And the reason that worked, or the reason I got to that point, was because for the first 90 days, I posted 3 times a day religiously. I didn't know exactly what I was going to post. I had somewhat of an idea based on other videos I liked in my industry and in my niche. And then what I just did is I iterated. If one took off, I was like, oh, why did that take off? That's the question. You got to figure out what the question is. So if you have a video that's viral, you got to ask yourself, why? Okay. Is it the general content of it? Is it the way I said the first line? Is it the visual hook as far as the text on the screen? Is it something in the caption? Was it a call to action that got someone to comment on the video, which boosts engagement? Is this the type of video that someone's going to share, right? So all of these different elements in any video that goes viral, there's probably 10 different things that you can refine and replicate to make sure that your next video goes viral.
So the quantity, you think, is what's like helping you gather data. And then once you've gathered data, you can begin to execute a little bit more strategically, right?
Yeah, I think quantity and consistency will trump perfection and knowledge every single time, because your knowledge is your application of information. The only way to apply information and to learn more information is by doing. And so if you're uncertain about what content to create, just create as much content as possible, whatever comes to mind. Use your intuition. If you're good at what you do, you should be able to talk for hours about your industry or your service. And as you do that, you'll refine the way you talk about it, which is really what sells.
Yeah, well, learning through teaching is huge too. Yeah, wow. Okay, cool. So when was the first time that you started talking about what you do, not just your story? When was the first time you started educating the masses on hypnosis and like how it works?
Yeah, so I started talking about hypnosis as the mechanism to be more successful. So everybody has content about mindset, and they have their own take on success and on how to achieve your goals and all, personal development and self-care and, all of this hyper growth and hyper success is out there everywhere.
It's probably the most saturated niche.
Exactly. Yeah. What separates somebody, and what I realize, is the mechanism by which you get someone the result. And so I was saying all of the same things that all the other gurus were saying, but then my shtick was like, well, the secret to actually achieving this is by using hypnosis. And here's what hypnosis is, and here's how that's going to make you more successful. And then people are like, oh, what's hypnosis? And now I created a knowledge gap. And this is really important in content, is creating a knowledge gap. Talking about things that have real solutions or provide real solutions, but someone probably hasn't either heard about before or they're not educated on. And so they're going to go to you to get educated on that mechanism because you've created a gap, and they need to go to you, the person who created the gap, in order to close it. And then ultimately they will buy from you because you're the one who was the engineer behind that.
And you found such an interesting niche, being able to provide people knowledge in something that's kind of like limited. Like your space is limited in my discoverability of it, right? Yeah. So you made yourself like the only source.
Yeah,
in a sense.
What's wild is like, I hate talking about some of this stuff because it feels like I'm patting myself on my own back. But I had someone tell me recently, like, Anthony, you're one of the most well-known hypnotists in the world, right? And I never thought about it like that. But I literally, I'm on social media. I'm one of the most searched for, most viewed.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's a relatively small niche.
Yeah.
But it is worldwide. There's a lot of popularity that's coming in this industry.
How many do you think there are?
Hypnotists?
Yeah.
Like actually practicing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
in the hundreds or in the thousands?
Definitely tens of thousands actual practicing hypnotists.
And you're one of the most famous. I completely agree with that. I mean, I'm in the market now of the internet realm of hypnosis, and
yeah. So as far as mainstream names in hypnosis, I'm probably top 5.
Wow, that's
probably
far.
One of the most, probably top 1 or 2 most followed. Yeah. At this point in time.
That's fucking gangster. I'm pulling up in my Hypnosis Ferrari with my boy Serino. Bro, I love it, man.
I thought that video was going to take off more than it did.
I know. Yo, bro, everywhere I go, and everywhere I go now, it's like listen, like in the past, it's like, oh, you work with the shark. Now, literally everywhere I go, people are like, yeah, I know the hypnosis guy.
Yeah.
All the time.
It's
Dr.
great.
Russ said it to me the other day. I showed this random person in a bar our video of you making me with my eyes stuck shut, and they're like, I've seen that guy. So it's super dope. So do you want to just give us like let's imagine that like this is someone's entry point into you, into me. Do you want to just like define what hypnosis is for people who out there who may not know?
Yeah. So hypnosis isn't some weird woo-woo altered state of consciousness where you just like lose control. It's really simply a heightened state of focus and a heightened state of mental relaxation. So if you've ever daydreamed, let me put it this way, have you ever driven from point A and you got to point B and you forgot how you got there?
Every day
Yeah.
Of my life.
And so you were driving, doing one of the most dangerous things you do on a day-to-day basis, yet you had no recollection of doing it. That's because your unconscious mind, we have a part of our brain that's responsible for automating those things. And when you're in an automatic flow state, this is where people talk about the flow state, you're actually in an unconscious state of mind. You're consciously still there, but you're not consciously really aware of what's going on, and you lose your sense of volition. So this happens when you're in a state of meditation, state of prayer. This happens right before you go to sleep at nighttime. The front part of the brain, the activation there in what's known as our prefrontal cortex actually gets relaxed. So the activation goes down, and then our unconscious part of our brain, which is our limbic system, people call it the monkey brain or the reptilian part of our brain, that part becomes more active, and you're able to communicate directly with the unconscious part of your brain that's responsible for your automatic functions, your habits, your beliefs, that flow state, confidence, etc. So when someone's in a state of hypnosis, all it is, to recap here, is it's an increase in mental focus and an increase in mental relaxation. And so when you're in that state, you get an enhancement of neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is a fancy word for your brain's ability to learn. So neuro, your brain, your nervous system, plasticity, the fact is like plastic, it's malleable. So this is how we learn things. We have neurons, we have neural pathways in our brain. The structure of our brain can literally form, it can connect. And in doing so, we learn habits, we learn ways of being, we learn cravings, we learn fears, we learn beliefs. And so what hypnosis does is like this tool that you can go in and you can hack your neural pathways. You can make new ones and you can delete old ones, if you will. And it all happens while you're conscious. This is not something where you're just like out of your mind, like a zombie zone through the floor. When I hypnotize someone, they are consciously aware the entire time.
I was going to ask you what it feels like, and I will get back to that, but I'm really interested in understanding this part of what you just described. You said that it is at the same time I am the most relaxed and the most focused. Do you think there's an interesting connection between relaxation and focus?
Yeah. So when I say focus, or rather when I say relaxation, I'm not referring to physical relaxation. And this is where even some of the best hypnotists and practitioners in the world get it wrong. And I'll go toe to toe on this any day of the week. Because you've been hypnotized by me, and anybody that's been hypnotized by me or who's experienced hypnosis, they know that there's no distinct feeling to it. The only reason that someone might feel relaxed while hypnotized is because the hypnotist or the practitioner has suggested that they feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about relaxation, what we're talking about is a deactivation of the
Just
nervous.
get that again, yeah. When we talk about.
So when we talk about relaxation, what we're talking about is really a deactivation of the prefrontal cortex. And so we're getting a relaxation of that part of the brain, which is responsible for our sense of reality, our sense of volition, our sense of agency. So the part of your brain right now that's telling you that you're here sitting in that seat and it's kind of gauging what's going on and listening to my voice is the part that slows down and relaxes. So it's not physical relaxation, it's mental relaxation.
Although you are helping people physically relax through sleep hypnosis trainings and all sorts of.
Yeah. So the reason I get someone physically relaxed in hypnosis is because physical relaxation begets mental relaxation. So the body is connected with the mind via the nervous system, right?
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, I was just going to say, so when we relax the body, the mind also relaxes. So this is why most practitioners and hypnotists get this wrong, is because they've been trained to get someone physically relaxed in order to hypnotize them. But the only reason that works is because they are mentally relaxing them because of the physical relaxation.
Okay. So you're claiming that it works. You actually is more effective the opposite way than what's traditionally practiced.
Not that it's more effective. It's just one is a foolproof way. If you want to hypnotize somebody, you want to get them physically relaxed first if you don't know what you're doing. I can be out in a bar and hypnotize someone and they're not relaxed, right? But they're hypnotized and they're forgetting their name and their hand is sticking to their head and they're doing all these funny things and they think I'm their favorite celebrity, right? They're not relaxed out in the bar. There's a lot of distractions going on, but they're still responding to hypnotic phenomena.
Wow. Okay. So that's really cool that you brought that up. So if I'm in a bar, I'm at home, I'm with my friends hanging out, I want to be able to maybe like hypnotize somebody. It's like I want to be able to, do something that's going to wow everybody. Like David Blaine, putting a needle through his hand to Kanye, right? So I want to be able to do that. How can I practice hypnosis?
Yeah. So hypnosis, actually getting someone into what we might call a trance, is really quite simple. Okay. It starts with one rapport. Rapport is very important. Now, we've talked about this on a previous episode. Rapport is not just about being known, liked, or trusted, right? That helps, right? Definitely someone getting to know you and you being personable and trustworthy will build rapport with somebody, but you can also be an authority in the situation and that will get rapport. So the first step is to get rapport, to get someone to comply with the instructions that you give to them. So that's the first thing I look for with somebody who wants to be hypnotized is like, are they paying attention to me? Are they focused and intrigued on what I'm saying? Are they open to it? Because I always say hypnosis is not something you have to believe in. It just works. It's kind of like gravity, right? You don't need to believe in gravity for it to hold you in that chair, but it's working even if you didn't believe in it. So hypnosis will work even if someone doesn't believe in the process. Oh man,
my boy, my fucking dog. Let's go.
So to hypnotize someone, the first thing you need is rapport. You need them to comply. You need them to focus on what you're saying. The second thing you need to do is you need to get and enhance that state of focus. So when I give someone an instruction, I need to get them mentally focused on what I'm saying. And in doing so, they are going to be more receptive to the things that I suggest afterwards. So if I have someone focus on my voice and then I have them close their eyes, well, now their eyes are closed. They're focusing on my voice. We're getting a release of this neurochemical called acetylcholine, which we don't really need to talk about, but it's an actual neuromodulator in the brain that once you start to focus, it allows you to focus even better. So we get an increase in focus with the eyes closed. Now they're responding much more freely and openly to what I'm suggesting after that. So if I tell them, hey, now you're going to go into a state of hypnosis, and I give them suggestions to go in, their mind is going to take them there. And that happens because the state of hypnosis is normal and natural to all of us. I just asked you about the example or told you the example of driving from point A to point B. But we all experience this state of hypnosis about 5 to 7 times a day. It happens right before we fall asleep at nighttime. Our brain begins to slow down, and that's why we end up going and drifting off into sleep. And then when we wake up in the morning, our brain waves increase, the activation in our brain increases, and we go through a state of hypnosis or meditative state from a neurological perspective, and then we're consciously awake and alert, right? So it's kind of like this bell curve every single day. So we definitely experience those 2 times, and then also we'll go in and out of these trance-like states every single day. So we're all really good at being hypnotized, even if we don't classify as hypnosis. So my job is to get the person to do what's already innate to them by giving them the right suggestions to focus and relax.
Wow. Okay. So essentially you're saying that I could take somebody into a hypnotic state just with practice and with knowing the certain signs to look for, so to speak?
Yeah. So I would say if I could distill this down into a really simple, like 3-step process to hypnotize anybody, anywhere, anytime, it would be build rapport, get them to know, like, and trust you by just being personable. Don't be a weirdo. Tell them what you're going to tell them, and then do what you told them you're going to do. So you're going to pre-frame the experience. And so what you're going to do is you're going to build that rapport. Then the second thing you're going to do is going to make sure they're focused on what you're saying and on the process and willing to follow instruction. And then 3, I know I said that it's not about physical relaxation, but the most foolproof way to get someone hypnotized mentally is to guide them through a physical relaxation.
Is it safe for me to be hypnotized? Like, I think that you could probably just flow right into hypnotizing me right now, and I think it would probably just work. But is it safe? Like, would it be safe for me, for my brain?
Yeah, so hypnosis is completely safe, and it goes back to the same example I just said. You were hypnotized when you were driving from point A to point B, even though you didn't consciously recollect what was happening or how you got there. Yeah. But you were in an altered state of consciousness, even though you had amnesia for that. So when you are hypnotized, it's actually, because it's such a normal state of being for us anyways, it's totally safe. You can't get stuck in it. You've never seen a YouTube video where, someone got stuck in hypnosis. You've never seen a news article or heard about someone in the hospital for months. Like, because it just doesn't work like that. It'd be like saying you got stuck in a nap or a daydream.
So what if you leave me in hypnosis and you don't take me out of it before I leave and like I go home, right? Am I just gonna naturally come out of it?
Sure. So there's 2 things here. Can you leave someone in the state of hypnosis? Yes. But we always have a conscious observer. So our conscious mind is always there. I'll give you an example. I do a free live hypnosis call every single week I have a community of about 500 people right now. It's constantly growing. And every single week, I hypnotize the group on Zoom, and invariably, there's a handful of people that even after I've stopped doing the hypnosis experience, they're still eyes closed, they're all hunched over, and they are still hypnotized. Even though I've already emerged everybody else, I've counted everybody out. And this is because it feels so good to be in a state of hypnosis. It's such a powerful, relaxed state of being and mind that sometimes the mind will hold on to that experience and not want the person to get out of it. Now, is that person going to stay hypnotized? No. Usually after 5-10 minutes, or, sometimes if it's around bedtime, people just kind of naturally fall asleep after that. But if it's at a point in the day when you wouldn't fall asleep, usually 5 to 10 minutes, someone will come back because their conscious mind will eventually like, oh, well, I got to go back out throughout my day. So could I hypnotize you right now and just like walk out? Yes, but you'd probably only be in it for about 5 to 10 minutes until like you had some other responsibility that you were consciously aware of.
Got it. Staying on the point of me being hypnotized, is it safe? How does it work? What's going to happen? What happens if you hypnotize me? Let's say we're in public and I end up, if you hypnotize me in public, will I end up exposing secrets about myself? Will I end up, saying embarrassing things, talking about stuff that I don't want anybody to know? Like, is that what I'm susceptible to if I undergo hypnosis by you?
Yeah. So when I hypnotize somebody, whether it's out in public or in a one-to-one session with me, they will not disclose anything that they don't want to disclose. In or out of hypnosis, they're not going to like give me their deepest, darkest secrets or any of the skeletons in their closet, unless they want to. I can't make someone do anything, just like I can't make them tell me things that they don't want to tell me, regardless of how deeply hypnotized they are, because of that hidden conscious observer that we always have. So like I said before, when you are hypnotized, even though it's a deep subconscious, unconscious process that's happening, you always have your conscious mind that's on alert to make sure that what you're doing is aligned with your morals, your ethics, what you expect, the context of the situation. This is why when I'm doing a one-to-one session for like performance anxiety or to get someone to feel more confident or eliminate a fear, that works, but I can't in the same process hypnotize them to do something funny like cluck like a chicken, because it's not in the context of why we're there to work.
Okay. Got it. I had it. Wow.
What did it feel like when I hypnotized you when your eyes were stuck?
I felt relaxed. You know, when you're speaking directly to me through these headphones, whenever I hear you begin a hypnosis training, I feel it physically. Like it's in my eyes. My eyes are sensitive. So they are, because like they'll like, I blink a lot, and I like, when I was young, I'd have like a tick. I would like if I was stressed, I would like blink. Mm-hmm. So when you do it, even if I'm at home and I'm watching your TikTok, when you tell me to close my eyes and I do, I feel it in my eyes. But what did I feel like when I was in it and when you made my eyes stuck shut? I just felt like I was relaxed. I still knew I was in the room. I was very conscious. I was very aware, but my eyes felt sensitive and they felt like they were stuck together. Yeah, that's all it was.
Yeah, so I always tell people hypnosis feels exactly like these one of three ways. Either you feel like you're light and floating, you feel like you're heavy and sinking, or you feel like you just got some dude talking to you with your eyes closed.
Mine was more like it's a mix of heavy and sinking and dude talking to me with my eyes closed.
Yeah. So most people, they oscillate between those experiences. And then when someone is hypnotized, even though there's no one feeling to hypnosis, I can help induce a feeling. So if I hypnotize you and then tell you now your body's going to relax, well, your mind is going to take that suggestion because it's a feel-good suggestion, and your body will relax. And now your perception of hypnosis will be like, okay, well, when I'm hypnotized, I get physically relaxed, right? But I could also hypnotize someone to be very high energy and to like sit up straight and to like be very rigid and tense and whatever excitement feeling that is. And they'll associate with that with the feeling of hypnosis.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you've been able to apply it to like seeking success for people, as opposed to like you're really helping people uncover their trauma and discover the root causes of their pain.
Yeah.
And I think that's an interesting take on it, because I don't see that as the main mode of what hypnosis is. Like mainstream wise, it's always people just doing like cool, like, you know, tricks and like making people act out, or, you know, on a stage, right? The whole room will fall asleep. Like, you know, so I think it's really admirable the way that you've been able to execute on the basis of hypnosis training.
Thank you. Yeah. I think where a lot of people and practitioners get it wrong is that the process is twofold. For far too long, hypnotists and coaches have been hypnotizing people for success by just using what's called direct suggestion. So they're hypnotizing someone, they're going to say, you're going to be more successful, you're going to be more confident, you're going to start taking action, you're going to start making more money. And that works to an extent, but how long it works for and how impactful that process is also dependent on their underlying subconscious programs or beliefs and their fears. So if you hypnotize somebody and tell them they're going to be more successful, they're going to make more money, but they have an underlying fear of putting themselves out there, or they have an underlying belief that money is bad, money is evil, well, those positive suggestions might stick for a little bit, but then they're going to revert back to their unconscious programming that was existing already. So I use hypnosis twofold. It's the gas and the brake analogy. So what I just described to you is like putting your foot on the gas. It's like all these feel-good suggestions, affirmations, visualization, living in the end, right? All those kind of traditional ideas of practical manifestation, if you will.
Yep.
Now, on the flip side, most people have their foot on the brake as well. And so what is the brake? The brake are those limiting beliefs, the low self-worth, the self-doubt, the fear, and your positive affirmations, the positive hypnosis, the visualization will only work as well as your worst limiting belief or fear. And so I always try to get the foot off the brake first. Let's address where those unconscious beliefs and fears come from so that we can get rid of them, and then do the positive. You're going to be successful. You're going to make more money. You're going to be more confident. Go grab my brand new hypnosis app. It's called MINDMOD. And when you download it today, you get a free 7-day trial. You'll be able to have all of my audios in your back pocket to help brainwash yourself for success, from increasing confidence to losing weight to quitting smoking to increasing your focus and productivity. It's all in there. So tap below to get started and take action now.